Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Natural Bear. Something a little bit different today. We have escaped from the limitations of merely recording on a desktop, and we're actually, IRL. So the other day, I found my collection of PlayStation 2 games, and it got me kind of nostalgic. And I've always wanted to collect for a system, and hopefully have a complete PAL collection. That's the plan. And I figured, you know what, we're going to do that. We're going to try and collect every PS2 PAL game ever released. Not an easy task. I have a spreadsheet of all the PAL games ever released. The difficulty is, well, firstly, is the amount. There are approximately 2,200, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, it's about 2,280 PAL games that were released for the console. The problem is, in that, you are including some games that were only released in one territory. For example, one of the rarest games on the system, if you can believe this, it's a Garfield game called like Saving Arlene or something. I believe in PAL regions it was only released in Italy. So clearly that's going to be a game that's hard to source, right? You've also got for example, this is just a random example, there's some Australian rules football games. So Australian rules football is obviously an Australian sport. You probably figured that out. And so those games were generally only released in Australia. I don't think they're that expensive, but they're relatively uncommon just because of the fact they're only sold in one territory. But I think they sold quite well in Australia. And also, you'll figure out quickly when you start collecting, old sports games are essentially worthless. So they're not going to be expensive, I don't think. They're just going to be relatively uncommon. So that's the difficulty, really. At least when you're collecting NTSC, it's a lot simpler in that sense. And there's also a lot less games. NTSC, there was about 1,800 games released, roughly. So you're talking about an extra 400 games. We did get some stuff over... we got a lot of stuff over here that America didn't get. They got some stuff that we didn't get, but the numbers are very vastly different, hence the reason we have 400 more games than they do. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on. This is going to be a look at what I'm starting with. So this is basically just games I've accumulated over the years, many of which... I had a lot more than this at one time, but they got sold because of a house move and things like that. So, what can you do? So we're starting from 75 games is the total that we've got. So we're going to whiz through these quickly. We're not going to spend too much time on them. I have another load of games in the mail that should be here by the end of the week, all of them. So I'll be making another video through that. And I figured I would document my my journey, really. So any pickups that we get, we can do videos on them. We could talk about pricing and things like that. Actually a good reason to collect for the PS2, if you are interested in doing this, is the cost is not too bad at all. Other than there's a few games for the system that are very expensive. The most expensive game is probably Rule of Rose, which, particularly the PAL copy, because that game was actually banned in the United Kingdom on release. Literally on the day of release, they decided to cancel the game. So there were a few copies that made it out into the wild, but not many. And the game was released in Europe, but only in a very limited run, because the publisher it was 505 Games. I believe it might have even been the first game they published, but they published it the year that they formed, and they were a very small Italian publisher at the time. Nowadays, they publish some big titles. They did like the Death Stranding PC port and things like that. So they've grown since then, but this was one of their first things they ever published. So not many copies anyway, and combine that with the fact that the UK, there's barely any copies out there, and you can see why that would have happened. Sorry about that. My computer decided to make a noise. I don't even know what that noise was. Anyway, sorry about that. That threw me. So there's games like that, and then you've got stuff like Kuon, which is a survival horror game, also like Rule of Rose. No controversy with that. It was just published in very small numbers. It's a From Software game too, which means it has some collectible value, because obviously they've gone on to do Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all that kind of thing. And then there's games that have released in limited quantities and things. But for the most part, PS2 games quite cheap, and you can pick up very good games for next to no money. Anyway, we'll get on with this video because we've been talking way too long. So we're just going to start bringing in handfuls and talking about them. And we're going to start with one of my favourite games ever, Resident Evil 4. This is actually the original Steelbook I had from when I first got the game, which was for Christmas, I think in 2005. So it's beat up now, but it's got sentimental value. I'm probably going to pick up a normal copy of this one day, just because, you know, this one's quite beat up, as you can see. It doesn't have the manual either. It has the guide inside. It has like a limited edition. Well, I don't know if it's limited edition, but I'll show you what's inside anyway. It's got this, which is like a mini guide. It takes you through the first like 3 chapters of the game, or well, chapter 1, chapter 1, 2, and 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. If you play the game, you know what I mean. I think it's just from the Prima official strategy guide, to be honest, and it's just been kind of copied here, but it has maps and things. And also, this is actually the solution to the tile puzzle in 3-4, where you play as Ashley. And I wrote this literally like 15 years ago, and it's been in this case ever since. So I thought that was mildly amusing. But anyway, that's Resident Evil 4. We've got the Godfather. Not a bad little game, actually. Cold Fear, one of my favourite sort of underrated survival horror games. There was a sticker there that was there for a long time, and I tore it off recently, and it's left a bit of a residue. So other than that, though, this is in pretty good condition. It has the manual as well. Does the Godfather have a manual, actually? I'll check these just so it's documented. It does. It also, you can see how much I paid for it there. There you go, £2.74. Fascinating stuff. I might have to blur that. I don't know if I showed my address, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Scarface, The World Is Yours. I don't know if this is complete. It is complete, yes, can confirm. Drakengard 2, unfortunately, as you can see, I got this disc only with the manual, essentially, so there's no case. So this is just kind of like a random DVD case. But the game is in there, and it's in pretty good condition. So if I can find a cover art for this, then we'll have complete. And I think it's not a rare game, because there's not many rare games on the system, quite frankly, apart from the ones I already mentioned and a couple of others. Generally speaking, there's no real rare games for this system, other than, like, say, a few. So, but there are some sort of more sought-after ones, some that are a bit more uncommon, and I think that falls into that category. So, Outrun 2006. I actually love this game. It's fantastic. If you've never played it, please do play this. It's a great arcadey racing game. Great fun. And I can't open it. That's incredible. Anyway, it's all in there with the manual and everything. Some of these games don't have manuals. Some of them are in kind of rough shape, but they all play, which is the important thing. Kill Switch. This is a 2-disc edition. It has like a SOCOM demo, I think. I think it's for the first SOCOM, but the manual's in there and everything as well. No, it's SOCOM 2. I tell a lie. And it has a trailer for Siphon Filter the Omega Strain on it. Provolution Soccer 6. This is one of the best football games ever made. Obviously not worth anything nowadays because, you know, old football games, but it's all complete and everything in decent condition. Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain. This is in rough condition, this copy. So this is one I'm going to try and upgrade at some point. I'm sure I'll find duplicates of this if I buy bundles and things, but yeah, it's in pretty horrible condition. You can see on the outside all the wear and tear on the disc, and the thing at the bottom there that holds the manual is broken. The top one's there, but not the bottom one, so it's not great, is what I'm saying, but we can upgrade that at some point. International Superstar Soccer, I don't know if this is complete or not. Yeah, it's complete. Again, basically worthless. Splinter Cell, one of my favourite games. Love this game, love this series for the most part. It's all in there. This is actually my original copy from back in the day, so I played this a lot back in the day. NBA Street. This is also a copy that I bought many years ago. It's in kind of rough shape. The disc is really scratched up. It does still work, however. The problem with these, this is one of the games on the system that's actually a CD, not a DVD. There are a few games like this. You can tell 2 ways. One, it says compact disc on it. That's the biggest tell. But also the bottom, if you just want to look at that, blue. And DVD is obviously silver. So that's the easy way to check if a game runs on a CD or a DVD. The only way it matters is CD games tend to react worse to scratches than DVD ones do. So sometimes you might have a case where a game like this, for example, you might struggle to run it if it's a bit too scratched up, but generally speaking, it doesn't matter that much. So there you go. We've got Without Warning. This, again, like Drakengard, it doesn't have any cover art, and there's no manual either. Oh, no, there is a manual. Of course, there is. It's in the front. But, yeah, disc and manual. So that's one that I need to upgrade at some point. Resident Evil Dead Aim. Oh, God. This is one of my favourite bad games. I love this thing. It's an awful game, but you can just play it and have fun, and it's goofy and ridiculous. It's great. No manual, which is a shame. If I can find a manual at some point, that'd be good, but everything else in pretty good nick. Time Crisis 3. This is actually an edition that was bundled with a GunCon. You can tell because not to be sold separately. So, I mean, obviously it still counts, but that's something to bear in mind. Oh, there's a game receipt in here. Hang on. I'm going to look at it off screen in case there's any... No, there's no payment details on it. You can barely see it because it's so faded, but you can see I paid $2.99 for this. So, there you go. £2.99. Not bad at all for what is a very good light gun game. Black. Love this game. It's all complete. Manual's tiny bit creased, but not too bad. Disc is there and everything. So, is there a mark on the disc, actually? No, that's a bullet decal. It's supposed to be there. It's part of the art. Never mind. Dynasty Warriors 5. I think this is all complete. It feels like it. Yeah. So that's in good, decent condition. There's obviously a lot of Dynasty Warriors games. Final Fantasy X. Other than that on the cover, it's fine. This is the Platinum version. I know some collectors are funny about having these. They prefer to have the original Black Label versions, but it's all in there anyway. It's complete. Got the manual. One of my favourite RPGs ever. Well, probably actually my favourite RPG ever because I don't really play RPGs very often. But for whatever reason, this one really grabbed me. So, and then Flat Out 2. I think there's a big crack on this case. Yes, there is. There's a big crack there at the bottom. Other than that, it's complete and actually in really good condition. So if I can get a replacement case, which won't be difficult, obviously, then we'll be all good on that. Cricket 07, and only the disc as well. Look at that. Yeah, I don't even know. This was actually, when I found my PS2 the other day, this was inside it. I have no memory of buying this. I have no memory of playing this, but it was inside the console. So I have no idea where this came from, and it was only the disc. I couldn't find the case or anything. So for now, we have a disc-only copy of Cricket 07. I'm sure at some point we'll find the complete version for basically nothing. It will just be in a bundle or something. So that's the thing about sport games. You kind of end up with them by accident, really. Legends of Wrestling 2. That is complete. Showdown Legends of Wrestling, which is a complete train wreck of a game, by the way. Buggy mess. So I think it's the last game that Acclaim ever released. And they rushed it out the door because they were in financial trouble, and the game it barely works. It's funny though. There's the glitches are hilarious. You've got wrestlers flying off into the sky and everything. So if you want to see Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper float off into space while they're tying up, then I can't recommend that game enough. We have Smackdown vs. Raw 2006. It's a platinum version again, but it is complete, as you can see. It even has the little what is that? The little little pamphlet thing trying to sell you other things, basically. The Getaway, it's in pretty horrible condition, as you can see. But it does have the manual, which is good. And actually, the manual itself and the disc isn't too bad. It's just the actual case that's been smashed. Well, not smashed, but it's been beat up. It's got, there's a bit of like glue or something, or tape maybe on the inside that's kind of gone a bit weird. And the sticker's still there because I didn't want to know what was underneath it, quite frankly. So we'll probably try and upgrade that at some time. Destroy All Humans. Does this have a manual? Yes, it does. Okay, it has the manual. Everything's all complete. Great little game. The remake came out last year, obviously, on next-gen stuff and on PC, and the remake's pretty good as well. It's more like a remaster, really. And then this isn't a game, it's just a thing. Action Replay V2. This is basically a cheat thing. So it's a bit like... I'm trying to think what it would be. I don't know if is it called Game Shark in NTSC, or was that for different systems? Or anyway, if you know what a Game Shark is, you'll know what this is. Basically, you load the thing up and it's got cheats for games on it, and then you plug this in and you can use cheats on games. That's it, really. This was printed in like 2003 though, so there's not actually that many games on it, but they're very keen on telling you that Grand Theft Auto Vice City is in fact included, so there you go. Def Jam Vendetta. It's complete. I love this game. It's a great little wrestling game, and it's full of rappers. So if you want to give Ludacris a pile driver, then that's great. I've just noticed DMX's name on the front cover. That's very sad. Obviously passed away recently. But yeah, very good game. It's got writing on the barcode, which is really fucking annoying, to be honest. But what can you do? I think that's my copy from back in the day, actually. But I didn't write on it, put it that way. Def Jam Fight for New York. This is actually going for like £20-25 on eBay. I'm not sure why that is exactly, but it's relatively sought after. I think NTSC version is even rarer, which is odd because it was an EA game that was quite well liked at the time. It had a lot of praise critically, so I don't know if it just didn't sell, but I would imagine it probably sold okay. I mean, you think Def Jam Vendetta's roster is impressive. Look at the amount of people in this one. You know, it's incredible. Just looking at the names at the bottom there. Danny Trejo is in this game. I know he's not a rapper, but he's still in this game. Snoop Dogg is in it. Busta Rhymes. You know, like it's an insane amount of star power that's in this game. So, yeah, really good game too. Actually, fantastic game. Burnout Revenge. Love this game. It's all complete and everything. It's in really good condition as well. Yeah, one of my favourite racing games ever, that. Absolutely awesome game. 13, little underrated sort of cult classic here. It's all complete. I do actually have another version of this coming in a bundle that I bought. So I'll have a duplicate, but any duplicates are just going to go straight to CEX, and I'm going to get store credit and obviously use that to buy more stuff. So duplicates are not really a big deal. And then Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I think this is like compulsory for everyone who owns a PS2, to be honest. It's all complete and everything, decent condition. I don't know if this came with a map, but if it did, my copy doesn't have one. But I don't know if it did or not. I know San Andreas did, but I have no idea if Vice City did. We've got Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories here. I think it's complete. Yeah, it's complete. Port of a PSP game. I actually really like this game. I know a lot of people said it was kind of a bit bland and featureless, but it's basically Grand Theft Auto 3 but on steroids, so I was quite a big fan of it, to be honest. It's all collapsing here. 007 Nightfire, love this game, it's so good. It's all complete. I do own all the Bond games, by the way, which is that's a thing because I'm a big James Bond fan. 007 Everything or Nothing, another great one. That's all complete as well, good stuff. We have Devil May Cry. This is kind of in bad shape. I don't think there's any manual either. Yeah, so that's one to upgrade. And this happened back in the day. Sometimes you would buy, because most game shops will take the disc out, right, and they'll have it in a drawer behind the desk or whatever. So when you take up this to the counter to buy it, they would often just take a random copy of the game out of the drawer. But sometimes it would be the platinum version. So here you get like the platinum version in a regular case. So it's a little bit annoying, but it doesn't really matter. For now, it's good to have the game. And actually, this is my favourite Devil May Cry. I know that sounds insane because most people would say 3 or even maybe 5, but I just love the first one. It's such a weird, odd kind of mix of Resident Evil and hack and slash that I can't hate it. It's so good. Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition. I have a soft spot for this game, not necessarily because of the game itself. It's all complete. It's actually in really good condition as well. Not necessarily because of the game itself, but because of the fact it contains the Street Fighter 2 animated movie on it. And that movie introduced me basically to music, because before I watched that movie, I wasn't that bothered about music, really. I would listen to the occasional song I liked, but after I watched that movie, there's the scene where Ken is... I think it's the first time you see Ken in the movie. I can't remember exactly now. It's been a little while since I've watched it, but he's like driving along in his open-top convertible or whatever, and the music in the background is Them Bones by Alice in Chains. And I've heard that song and was like, holy shit, who are these guys? This sounds great. And then I heard that song again not long afterwards in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So then it was like, okay, I didn't actually know what the song was called, was the thing. So I actually had to look in the San Andreas manual because it listed all the songs in the back on the radio stations. And I had to find the actual song. You know, I was looking at these random song titles. I had to look them up and listen to them and be like, no, it's not that one. It's not that one. So I eventually found it that way, got into their music. And then from there, I've gone off and now I'm a huge fan of, like, you know, metal, heavy metal, thrash metal, etc. And it's all because of that movie, really. And GTA San Andreas as well, to be fair. So that game has a soft spot in my heart. Mostly because of the actual movie. The movie's great, by the way. Definitely watch the film. It's one of the best it's one of the best video game adaptations there is. It's actually really good. Obviously, it cheats a bit because it's not live action, but, you know. And then Cold Winter. Underrated little first-person shooter. It's all complete and everything. A little bit like Soldier of Fortune, if you've ever heard of that. It has the same sort of really gory... It's very gory, basically. And it even has a crafting system. Bearing in mind, this game came out in, 2005 or 6? 2005, it says on the back. So... You know, for a 2005 shooter to have a crafting system, that's pretty impressive, honestly. So they were kind of ahead of the time on that one. So, yeah, good game. Right, we've got one box to go after this. So we've been here a while, as everything falls. Let's see, we've got Fahrenheit. I think this is complete. What a weird fucking game this is. The best description I've ever heard of this game is that an intern was carrying the script to the typewriter, ready to print, or not the typewriter, where did that come from? Too much Resident Evil, that's the problem. An intern was carrying the script to the photocopier, about to send it off to be finalised, and on the way there he tripped and dropped the script, and bits of paper just flew everywhere. So because he was in a rush and he panicked, he just picked the pages up in a random order and put them through anyway. Honest to God, this makes no sense, this game. It is absolutely batshit insane, but you do need to experience it because it's fucking mental. It starts off as a really intriguing sort of murder mystery thing, and it's like, holy shit, this is cool, man. And then halfway through, it just goes nuts deep into Crazy Town, and just weird shit starts happening, and you get like, I'll just say random things that happen. I won't try and spoil any of it, but you get like Mayan prophecy shit. You get chased by like this panther at one point that just is in your dreams or something, and then another point like AI start appearing and talking about taking over the world, and they start having a fucking fight with they have like a Matrix fight above the city, the main character and this like other dude, and at one point the Mayan and the AI guy have a punch up, just start having a fight for no reason. What else happens? Fuck. There's like 2 really uncomfortable sex scenes in the game that are just like really bizarre and not good. In fact, Americans, you will not know this game as Fahrenheit because they had to change the name because of Fahrenheit 9/11, the Michael Moore documentary thing. So they called it Indigo Prophecy over there. That's what you'll know it as. But while they were porting it to NTSC, they also took out both sex scenes. So you'll probably be a bit confused about the fact, wait, there's sex scenes in this game? Yes, there is. In the PAL version, there is in fact 2 sex scenes. I think the PC release that came out at some point, I think there's a remastered version on PC, that has the sex scenes back in, I think. You're not missing much. One of them is interactive, so you literally have to push up on the analog stick to thrust. I'm not joking. It's as cringy as it sounds. But anyway, that's Fahrenheit. I love this game, this batshit stupid game. Quantic Dream, I don't know. It's unfiltered David Cage. There you go. That's the best way I can sum it up for anyone that knows David Cage. My God. Something more normal. From Russia with Love. I think this is complete. Yes, it is. Good game. Has Sean Connery in it, so that's good. Fahrenheit came back. No one can escape. Rogue Trooper. I don't think there's any manual. I told a lie. There is a manual. In fact, this is in really good shape. This is like basically brand new. It's a good game, underrated. Not many people have heard of it. It's based on a British comic, the 2000 AD comics. And there's a series in there called Rogue Trooper, and it's based on the main character who's called Rogue. And I'm stalling because everything's falling over. Right, Time Crisis 2. Complete is a sticker on the manual, which is annoying. It's in okay condition. Yeah, I love me some Time Crisis. Who doesn't, right? Gungrave. This is an interesting little game. It's based on a manga, I think, which was probably made into an anime. I genuinely don't know, but most of these things are. It's all complete and everything. 007 Agent Under Fire. This is in kind of shitty condition. It does have a manual. They've also done the thing where it's the platinum disc, but it's the normal edition case, which is really annoying, but what can you do? Yeah, that's all complete and everything. It's just in kind of bad condition. Dead or Alive 2. Yeah, all in there. Good fighting game, actually. Also, the last Dead or Alive game on the system, or the only one on the system, because 3 and 4 were Xbox exclusives. Because, you know, they offered Tecmo a wad of cash, I guess. I don't really know why. I guess because they wanted Tekken, but they couldn't get it, so they just thought, well, we'll take Dead or Alive then, I guess. I don't know. Psyops, The Mindgate Conspiracy, one of my favourite underrated games, this. It's so good. It's all in there and everything. It ends on a cliffhanger, though, and there's no sequel. And there never will be, because Midway made this game, and they went out of business, like, maybe 6 years after this came out. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, definitely play this game. Don't think it's available digitally. They actually released this game for free like a decade ago, but it has ads. I don't know if that version's still a thing. I have no idea, but it was a weird thing that they tried to do. But no, if you can pick this up, definitely pick it up. I don't think it will be that expensive. I haven't looked it up, but if you can get it, definitely do so. And then Rocky Legends, pretty good little movie. Oh, good little game based on the movies. This is the sequel to the first Rocky game, which is just called Rocky. Yeah, pretty good. You get to play as Clubber Lang and punch people. It's great. We've got Tekken Tag Tournament. Another one where it's a platinum disc but normal case, but it does have the manual at least. Mildly annoying, but you know, not gonna be too upset. Serious Sam Next Encounter. Let's see. It's got the sticker residue on the front, which is a little bit annoying, but it's all in there. It's complete and everything. It's in decent shape. We've got Soul Reaver 2. I've also got the receipt from when I bought it. It cost me $1.99. But yeah, it's all in there. It's all complete and everything's actually in pretty good condition. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. I need an upgrade on this because the case is kind of messed up and there's also no manual, as you can see. So that needs an upgrade. But yeah, I love this game. It's so good. Holy shit. Definitely play this game. You can get it during a Steam sale. You can get this game for like £1 or something probably. Also, they're actually remaking it. Ubisoft are. Doesn't look very good though. It actually looks kind of shit graphically. And honestly, it doesn't really need a remake. It still holds up pretty well. The only bad thing about it really is the camera. The combat's also so-so, but it doesn't stop the game from being good or anything. There's not that much combat anyway, so it's not really a big deal to me. I don't think any of the Prince of Persia have great combat personally, but what can you do? Freedom Fighters, now we're talking. I love this game. So good. They recently re-released this on PC and I bought it immediately because it was like £4 or something. Yeah, definitely play this game. It's a third-person shooter by the guys that made the Hitman games, IO Interactive. So definitely buy this. It is, you got to play this. It's great. It's like it's a third-person shooter where you also command like a group of fighters, like freedom fighters, funnily enough. So you can issue them like simple commands and stuff like that. But it's got this really good system where it's got like a respect system. So the more respect you earn, the more fighters you can actually command. And you'll often find like injured fighters out in the field. So you need to be able to spare a first aid kit to recruit them and stuff like that. It's really good. Fantastic soundtrack. If you do nothing else, listen to the soundtrack. Oh my god. Jesper Kyd did the soundtrack, who did all the Hitman stuff as well. Up until the newer ones anyway. And he also does a lot of the Assassin's Creed games as well. So, fantastic composer, and the soundtrack is absolutely brilliant. It's some incredible orchestral music, so definitely give that a listen to. But yeah, great game. I love that game. I could talk about it for hours. Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. Interesting little survival horror game. It's all complete and everything. Speaking of survival horror, I haven't forgotten about the Surviving the Horror series. The issue I'm having is that the game I'm doing next is so fucking awful I can't bring myself to play it anymore. So we're going to do the video soon, I think. I'll give you a small clue if you can figure it out. Playing it really stings. There you go, that's all you're getting. Also Sonic the Hedgehog's in it. Anyway, that's going to sound weird out of context. The Punisher. I really like this game. It's kind of fun. It got some controversy at the time because you can interrogate people for information, and also every time you interrogate someone you get some health back, so it's the way that you heal in the game. But you interrogate them by threatening to, drill a hole in their skull, or threatening to feed them into a wood chipper, usual normal things. And so it caused a bit of controversy. They had to censor some of the executions because they got a bit violent, but yeah, it got a bit overblown, as you'd expect. But no, really good game. Volition made it too, the guys that do Saints Row and Red Faction, stuff like that. Devil May Cry 2, I laugh every time I think about this game. As you can see, it's kind of got some weird stuff going on with the side of the case where the sticker's been. I don't know what that's about. It's got a bit of a sticker mark on the back. This is not in great condition. It does at least have the manual and both discs. But yeah, Devil May Cry 2, fuck me, this game is so bad. I'm not even going to talk about it, actually, because I'll be here for hours. Hitman Blood Money, from the ridiculous to the sublime. This game's fucking great. Has the manual and everything. It's in decent condition. This is my copy from back in the day as well, so yeah, great stuff. Love that game. Urban Chaos Riot Response. This is actually Rocksteady's first game, the guys that do the Batman Arkham stuff, so interesting. Yeah, it's all complete and everything, in really good condition as well, so interesting game. Give that a what's the word? Give that a look-see. There you go, that'll do. It's worth looking into. Medal of Honor Frontline. This is not my copy from back in the day. I bought this after the fact, but it's the platinum version, but it has the normal discs. It has the opposite problem of some of the other games, but no, it's all complete. It's in okay condition. The case is fine, I would say. Actually, no, you know what? I'll take that back. The case is actually pretty... Yeah, the case is alright. It's in okay shape. Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Has the Devil May Cry demo as well. Has the manual. There's the disc. It's in okay condition. This is my copy from back in the day. I don't like this game. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, but I do not like Code Veronica at all. We'll talk about it at another time. Tenchu Wrath of Heaven. Brilliant little stealth game. Great stuff. Nothing more to say on it, really. It's just a really good game. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Oh, me gusta. Yeah, it has the making of bonus disc, has the manual and everything. Well, I think it has... I feel like there was 2 manuals. I don't know why I think that, but maybe it... No, it's all there. There is 2 manuals, but they're both there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this... Don't like that. But, I mean, to be fair, this is my copy from back in the day, so, you know, what can you do? But yeah, one of my favourite games ever. This is my favourite Metal Gear Solid game as well, purely for the story and the themes. Hideo Kojima was clairvoyant, that's all I'll say. The guy could read the future. And we also have Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance as well, which is obviously the expanded re-release with all the VR missions and stuff. Also has the document of MGS2, which is a brilliant little bonus disc of like... it's got character models and information about the making of the game. Some of the original sketches that Kojima wrote in like 1998-99 for like a concept for this game. Great stuff. It's got the manual and everything. The only problem with this is the actual disc is cracked slightly, if you can see. Last time I checked this, it did still play, despite that. But that is something to note. Also to note, I believe this did come out on March 28th, 2003, which would have been my 10th birthday. So actually, I think this is the copy I got for my 10th birthday. So, yeah. Little history note there for you. Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. This is obviously the big expanded re-release to MGS3. This is so cool, man. 3 discs, all there, manuals there. It's in really good shape as well, actually. I looked after this because it's such a cool thing, you know. Yeah. Wow, Metal Gear Solid 3, my god. I don't have Snake Eater, the original version, so I need to pick that up, but you can get that for next to nothing, to be honest. Manhunt. This is all complete. I love Manhunt. Great little game. One of the most unflinchingly nihilistic games I've ever played. It relishes in its nihilism, and I think that's so interesting and so risky that it should be played. The game itself is fine. It's got a few issues. It's like a stealth game that also has some shooting elements in there. But just in terms of experiencing a game that revels in its own darkness and its own nihilism, and it pulls no punches about the dark side of humanity, I think purely for that purpose it's worth playing. This game, on the other hand, oh my god, it's relatively uncommon, Manhunt 2, because there was a lot of controversy in the UK about this game. Because the first... Actually, I probably should explain this. The first game got banned about probably a year after release. Hasn't affected the rarity as such, because obviously by then it had already kind of been and gone in the market. But essentially I can't remember the age of the people involved. I want to say a 13-year-old boy killed his 17-year-old friend, I think. Like strangled him and stuffed him in a bin or something horrifying like that. And this game got blamed by the media because they said that the killer owned a copy of it, and they tried to claim that, oh, the game, you get more points for killing people more violently, which is just not true at all. But there was a lot of controversy in the media about it. Turned out the victim was actually the one who owned a copy of this game, not the killer. So it had nothing to do with anything, but obviously it got banned because, you know. And I think Rockstar were just like, just ban it. Who cares? The game's been out a year anyway. I'm not making any more money off this, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's just an interesting footnote. This game is still technically banned, I believe. I don't even think you can stream it on Twitch. I could be wrong about that. This game you definitely can't stream on Twitch because it was given an adults-only rating, which is hilarious because it's less violent than the first one. Yeah, Manhunt 2 is not very good. It has some interesting ideas, but my god, does it not go through with them. And the executions, you can barely see what's happening because they had to put so many filters on the screen to get around the sensors and stuff, so... yeah, weird game too because it came out in like 2007 and yet it only came out I think on PS2, PC and the Wii. I don't know why they put this on the Wii. I have no idea, you know, because little Timmy really wants to play Manhunt 2 after a round of Wii Sports, doesn't he? I don't understand that. Makes no sense to me. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, yeah, it's all there. I think this is my copy from back in the day. Love me some Mortal Kombat. There's Deception. I think this is also complete, yeah. Also my copy from back in the day. And Mortal Kombat Armageddon, also my copy from back in the day. Also complete and in good condition. I don't have Shaolin Monks, so I need to pick that up. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, but I have the other 3. Splinter Cell Double Agent. This game is awful on PS3 especially, and PC and 360, because that's the so-called next-gen version. It was made by a different company or a different studio within Ubisoft, and they just completely dropped the ball. The PS3 version in particular, I've never played like a more poorly optimized game in my life. It runs at like 20 frames a second. It's awful. It is completely unplayable. This version, though, fucking great, because it's basically just a map pack for Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is one of the best stealth games ever made. So I can't complain too much about this. It's great, you know. Crisis Zone. I think, is this complete? It is. This is a Time Crisis spin-off where you get like a submachine gun instead of a pistol. So you can, you know, the game has a quite good, not destruction physics as such, but basically everything in the environment can be shot to pieces. So like, it's in a shopping mall as well. So you'll go through like a bookstore, for example, and you'll just be spraying bullets everywhere, and there'll be pieces of paper flying and everything. It's good fun. It's a good little light gun game if you've never played it. Time Splitters 2, one of my favourite games ever. It's all complete. Has a soft spot. There you go. Has a soft spot in my heart for two reasons. One, it was made by the guys that made GoldenEye and Perfect Dark back in the day. And two, the company that did make it, Free Radical, they were actually based in Nottingham, where I live. So it was a local game and one of the best on the system. So great stuff. And then we've got Time Splitters Future Perfect as well, which is also complete. Not as good as the second one, but still a great little game. And great fun. Fantastic shooter with unbelievable multiplayer. And this game has a better story mode than the second game as well, purely because it actually has a story. And the story in this game is very funny, very well written, worth a laugh. You meet some funny characters and do some funny things. So I'd consider that. I'd recommend that. There we go. I'd recommend that. It's great stuff. Almost there. We have Tekken 5, which is all complete and everything. It's my copy from back in the day. One of the best fighting games ever made for my money. GoldenEye Rogue Agent. This completes the Bond. Okay, no, these two complete the Bond stuff. Yeah, it's all complete and everything. GoldenEye Rogue Agent's not a great game at all, but interesting footnote in history. They tried to kind of catch lightning in the bottle twice by using the GoldenEye name, and then, well, they tried to use the GoldenEye name to sell copies, but the excuse they give is, oh, you play as a guy who has a golden eye. So it's like, that's such a lame reason to use that title, isn't it? Fucking hell. Anyway, good old EA. And then Quantum of Solace, it's all complete and everything. This was actually released in 2008, so quite a late PS2 title here. By Eurocom as well, the guys that they did Nightfire, they did The World Is Not Enough on N64, which is a really good little Bond game. Also relatively local company. They were based in Derby, which is like the next major town over from Nottingham. Yeah, and they closed their doors 2012, I think, so another sad one. So the local gaming scene has been kind of ravaged over the years, unfortunately. It looks like that's everything. I can't see anything that I've missed here. I'm just taking a quick look around. I feel like there is something that I've missed, because I don't remember seeing Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which I'm almost certain that I own, but maybe I don't, which would be really weird. I'm assuming that's everything. I'm going to assume that's everything. I will double check the video before I upload it, and if there's anything else to add, I'll add it on in post. But I think that's everything anyway. So assuming that is everything, thank you very much for watching. We'll just have a quick look at the carnage, as you can see. Yeah. So that's the start of the collection. So like I said, I believe the 75. I haven't counted Action Replay V2. So if you want to count Action Replay, that's 76. But that's not on my list, so I'm not considering that as a... I don't count that, basically, but I have it anyway. So, yeah, 75, I think, is the number that I'd gotten to, but I'll double-check, make sure everything's here. Yeah, so we'll probably be back with another video at the end of the week, probably, once all the stuff arrives. We've got about 30 games coming in, so we can add those to the list. We can go through them. I can tell you how much I paid for them and that kind of thing. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And we'll be back with some other things at some other time. As you can probably tell, I'm very scattershot. I just make random videos when I feel like it, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, until then, Adrian and whatnot. Hello, me again. I did forget some games. These were off to the side, and I think it's because they're relatively uncommon to a degree. So I think I had them off to the side on a different shelf. That was the only reason. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's complete, not in fantastic condition. Well, the manual's pretty good, actually, looking at it. The back is a bit crinkled, though. I remember why. When I bought this game, and this was when I was probably... When did I buy this? I must have been like maybe 10 or 11. I distinctly remember I bought it home and accidentally dropped milkshake on the back of it. I distinctly remember this, so that's why it's a bit crinkled, because I had to dry it quickly, but not quickly enough, apparently. But yeah, Marvel vs. Milkshake, there you go. Silent Hill 2 Director's Cut. It's complete. It is the Platinum version, which makes it less sought after, but yeah, what an astonishingly good game. My God. I don't even know where to begin. It's such a fucking incredible, incredible game. Evil Dead Regeneration. I think this is complete. Yes, it is. Not like massively rare or anything. This one's more like... It's in the £10 to £15 mark, I believe. So that was why it was off to the side, I think. And finally, Obscure, which is probably my... Ironically given the title. Probably my most obscure game, I would say. This usually goes for like £40 to £50, I think, on eBay. Maybe a bit less. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's actually a cool little game. It's a survival horror game. Very short. You can beat it in like 4 hours, but it's pretty good. And it's if you like the movie The Faculty, which is like it's a horror movie set in like a high school, and it stars basically every hot young rising actor of like the late 90s, if you've ever seen it. Also has like pop punk soundtracks, so it's like all Green Day and Blink-182 and all that. So it's a great little slice of late 90s culture in that sense as well. It's very much based on that. It's pretty much a movie adaptation of that, but it doesn't use any of the characters. So yeah, I'd recommend that. It's a decent little survival horror game. Do not play Obscure 2: The Aftermath, as it's called in NTSC. That game is bloody awful, so don't play Obscure 2. It's terrible. But Obscure 1's a good time. Anyway, that's enough from me now. I'll leave you with Bruce Campbell's face, which the face recognition on the camera is actually picking up. Brilliant. Some would say groovy. Anyway, goodbye.